That could happen if the people of Nigeria really seriously want it. In India, I'll give you an example. In India, they were in this type of situation. After independence in 1947, the northern parts of the country broke away and became Pakistan and Bangladesh. Then the rest of the country was going through what we are going through now. And the rulers were insisting that there was not going to be any restructuring. Even the Prime Minister, Nehru, threatened that if they try to restructure the federation, he will resign. But then the people insisted. The youth of Nigeria must force the present rulers of Nigeria to agree to the idea of a restructured constitution for Nigeria, a restructured federation.
Okay, Mr. Fashakin, what exactly are we restructuring? You hear IPOB, you're MASOB here, you're Arawa youths there, here and there. There are songs of conflict here and there. What are we restructuring in essence?
Thank you, Sheon. Listening to Prof, I sincerely share a great deal of his passion, for this nation. A man of his age, still, behind the scene, before we got into the studio, he told me he was in the Senate in 1979 to 83, the Second Republic. So I'm still very passionate, still very concerned about good governance, about national wellness. Is something that I find very commendable. Many things have been said. Like I told you, if you gather, most of the things that Prof shared have to do, with shared prosperity, that we need to happen, that must happen in this nation. Somebody said, you were talking about the 2014 Confab report. I have some fundamental things against that Confab, and I want to share it with you. Section 14, subsection 2A of the Constitution talks about sovereignty belonging to the people, from whom government derives its legitimacy and powers. So, in a constitutional democracy, the first thing about it is the people. The second thing about it is the people. The third thing about it is the people. Now, when the former president, Jonathan, decided to have a constitution of confab, what did he do? He appointed a group of people to plan the confab for him. But I looked at one of the fellows that planned it. This fellow had an antecedent of total hatred for Nigeria. In 1990, April 22, a coup took place in Nigeria, and although it was an attempted coup, it failed. The people were arrested, but before they were arrested, they had told us the kernel of their message was that they were going to, balkanize Nigeria. They have even succeeded in excising some part of the federation. It later turned out that the head of that coup plot, of that group, was one of the people that President Jonathan appointed to do his confab for him. So for me, I knew that he was already asking myself, so it means he had an agenda. And to confirm that, when that group, that committee, went around the nation to ask to canvass for support for the confab, when they got to Edo State, this same fellow showed so much unruly behavior and intemperate language against the governor. So now, when you now say that,
we need to take a pause and take a break. Just a moment, please. We will round up the conversation on restructuring, and also there is a concern that some people should be sued. That some ministers and federal lawmakers getting double pay and obscene emolument. Serabi is asking the Attorney General to sue them. Find out details when we return. With us. Let's conclude our conversation now on the issue of restructuring. We still have one lingering matter which is more legal than moral. Mr. Fashakin was talking about the issue of the 2014 conference, but I will allow him in a few seconds now to conclude the conversation. The issue is what exactly are we restructuring? Just in about 30 seconds, if you conclude that thought.
Yes. So my own grounds with that is the present clamor for that. The major deliverable of that confab, which was the report, to now form the bulwark of the restructuring process people are clamoring for. I said no, that should be rigging, because if we go back to section 14, of our constitution, which talks about put sovereignty in the Nigerian people, and for a confab of 492 persons, none of them was elected. All were appointed by the government of that day. Now, for you to now say that the result, the major deliverable of their work, of that project, should now form the bulwark of what people are talking about restructuring, then I say that is rigging.
Okay, but as it stands now, what do you think your party should be doing right now? Do you think they should make restructuring a priority?
Well, restructuring, yes, there are, to a large extent, there are areas of the Constitution. We run a constitutional democracy, so basically we still have a constitution that we are working with right now. Yeah. So basically, there are parts of the Constitution.
Would you, just in 30 seconds, would you suggest that your party should organize a sovereign national conference?
Well, if the people desires it, that's.
But people are saying they should.
If the people desire,
let me allow because Mr. J.T. Ogunye will talk to us on this Serap asking the Malami to sue them. Some of those people who are allegedly collecting double pay. But Professor, do you think this government should organize a sovereign national conference?
Yes, if that is what we decide, but there are other options. A sovereign national conference would be great, but there are other options. In 1953, the Indians didn't organize a national sovereign conference. They didn't even organize a national conference. What they did was to set up a commission on the restructuring of their federation.
So that is what
a commission to advise the country on how to go about it, because people were saying it should be done in the parliament. People were suggesting different things. So the government decided, okay, we are going to set up a commission of experts.
All right.
And they then wrote recommendations for the country for restructuring. And it is those recommendations that the Indian people took and used gradually until they have the Indian Union.
All right. Let me allow Mr. Ogunye to come here because of our time. This issue of restructuring has taken so much of our time that even the other issue we may not be able to delve into it. But as it stands right now, Mr. Ogunye, legally speaking, it's 2 years to the next election. What do you think the government of the day, the Buhari government, should be doing right now to listen to the clamor of the people?
What the government should be doing is to set up processes that will lead to the convocation of a sovereign national conference that will stay side by side with their national assembly. It won't disturb their national assembly. That will come out with a brand new constitution that will be subject to a referendum or a plebiscite. And people will vote on it. And that will be the basis of our continued staying together as a country.
Well, it's been a very exciting time with the benefit of the knowledge of my panel on the program today. Of course, we will be going into an other issue maybe on tomorrow's show. Well, it's been an exciting time. Professor Akintoye, many thanks for coming on the program. Mr. Rotimi Fashakin, it's a pleasure having you. And Mr. J.T. Ogunye, always a pleasure having you on the program. And that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for being part of it. On behalf of the team, I'm Sean Wakimbale. Bye for now.